Hello, I'm Tony Keith, the Christmas Light Guy. Welcome to another tutorial in my series called 5-Minute Tips and Tricks. I'll show you a handy tip or trick in just 5 minutes. In this tutorial, I'll be discussing the importance of cable ties in your holiday display and some handy uses. Yes, you heard correctly, cable ties, sometimes referred to as zip ties or wire ties. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a video on cable ties, but let's get started. First of all, in this hobby, you will become very familiar with cable ties if you haven't already. I've used hundreds, perhaps close to 1,000 cable ties in my display for prop building and assembly, prop mounting, cable organization, and many other uses. I've used so many, I've considered even buying stock in a cable tie manufacturing company. I mainly use the 4, 6, and 8-inch cable ties in both black and white. Here are some examples. These are Smart Electrician brand sold at Menards. If you're lucky enough to have a Menards nearby, I found that these are the most economical brand. They are about $2.50 for 100 of the 8-inch. Please see the links below to the cable ties that I use. Okay, for the first tip. The first tip is to use cable ties to strain relieve all your wires. I can't stress to you the importance of strain relief on all your cables. This includes prop cables, input and output connectors on pixels and power injection cables. I don't know how many times I've tripped on cables during the setup and maintenance of my display. I've also had props fall from the side of the house or the roof due to wind, and I was glad I had strain relieved my cables or I would have had more repairs. Here are a few examples of how I strain relieve my cables. First, candy canes. This is with the pixel connectors on both the input and output. Next, a mini tree, pixel connector on the input. Next, snowflake, pixel connectors on both the input and output. And last, a smart remote on the output pigtails. Now we've looked at using cable ties to strain relieve your wires. Let's look at another use. My second tip is a handy prop standoff using PVC pipe and cable ties. This is a great way to get your vertically mounted props to sit flush against a garage door, a wall, or a side of a house. Let me show you what this looks like on a prop. Here is a candy cane, and you can see the standoff method provides clearance for the pixels and the wires and the vertical surface that you're mounting it to. Now let's look at how I implemented my standoffs. I used a short piece of 1/2-inch diameter PVC pipe, schedule 20, about 2.5–3 inches long. I also drilled a hole 3/16 all the way through it, about 1/4 inch from the bottom, like this. Next, I drill 3 3/16 holes in my prop. The first hole should be centered where the standoff will sit. The next 2 holes are about 3/8 of an inch on both sides of the center hole. Next, take the stand up and 2 ties. Put one through one side, turn it around, put the other wire tie through the other side. Okay. Bring the 2 wire ties together. This will go into the center hole of the prop. This will come up through the prop and into the one side of the cable tie. And the other one will go through the other hole into the cable tie. And once you pull those tight, you have a nice, handy, easy stand-up. Here's what it looks like with the cable ties pulled tightly. This is the back side of the prop, and this is the front side of the prop. Okay, remember my 2 tips for cable ties. The first tip, strain relieve all your prop wires. I can't stress the importance of this. The second tip, use PVC and a couple of cable ties to create handy standoffs for your vertically mounted props. If you've enjoyed this 5-minute tips and tricks tutorial and would like to see more, please subscribe to my channel, The Christmas Light Guy.